All right, so we've talked about consistency. Now let's talk about boredom. Now, if you're wondering when we talked about consistency, then you should watch the last episode. Now let's talk about boredom. Apart from you showing up consistently to achieve a particular thing, there are days where consistency is going to be like a routine, because consistency is actually a routine, and routine gets to a point where it becomes boring and becomes less exciting. So this is the reason why boredom always show up, because boredom comes from you showing up consistently, and when that show up, you will tend to wind down. You want to try something new, you want to do something new, and the excitement dies down. So there is this conflict that arises that your goals requires routine and your brain resists routine. Your brain wants something new, your brain wants something exciting, because the newness of a thing makes you excited. Let me give you an example. When you get a new book, you are often excited to read a book, but as time goes on, it becomes less exciting. You want to read another book without finishing that book. So this is the reason why routine feels heavy, because when you wake up, you do certain things, you're trying to be consistent, but boredom is going to be the test that you are going to go through in order to show that you really want that thing. So being committed, being consistent is just half of the journey, but being able to persevere and handle boredom is what's going to make the difference in whatever goal that you are trying to achieve. So routine turns effort into automatic behavior. Okay, this is the set of tasks that you need to do every morning. It's your morning routine. Okay, meaning when you wake up the next morning, you don't have to think through of what you need to do. It becomes automatic. Okay, you don't need to try to think what to wear or when to do a thing. You just wake up and everything. This saves your brain a lot of stress or a lot of planning time that it takes for you to get work going. But like we talked about routine, boredom comes in when that thing becomes less exciting. Okay, like I've mentioned before. So this is where most people actually quit. Okay, because you're not seeing visible results, there is no applause, no emotional rewards. It's just like you become a robot. Okay, nothing new is exciting. So now you have to get used to boredom. Okay, instead of fighting it, you have to understand that is what it actually requires to actually get the sources that you're looking for. Because most times competence comes from boredom. Okay, when you are now bored of that thing and you're trying to build that skill set, maybe you're trying to do a thing, you're trying to learn a skill. When you become bored and you're doing repetitive tasks over and over again, and boredom hits and you're able to overcome boredom, that's where competence shows up. Because now you can do it with your eyes closed, you can do it without thinking, you can do it without even considering what to do, how to do it, because you are used to that boredom. Okay, this is where in most cases most people get to that point where they don't see value in their work anymore. They think, because they are not used to it, there is not much value in it. Meanwhile, there are people actually looking at them from the outside world and are saying, this guy is really good, he's massive. But you start looking at these things that you're doing to be non-valuable. You start looking at yourself, you start looking down on yourself. Now this can be a very tricky place to be, and you have to understand that this is not this adds structure to your life. It's not a chaos. Okay, so what do you do, when do you do it, and how long do you do it? They are all packed together from you being able to handle boredom. Okay, and this actually saves you a lot of time, and it creates control, okay, over variation. Even though you are doing certain tasks, certain point of the day, you know what to do next, and that saves you a lot of stress. But you just need to understand that this is what you really need to be able to get the skill and the competence that you're looking for. You have to get used to boredom. Okay, you wake up, you want to do the same thing again. You wake up, let's say you want to be a YouTuber, you want to be a content creator. Let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is to record. You're gonna get used to that, and when you get used to that, you're gonna get bored of it, and you wake up, you're like, I'm gonna do the same thing again. You're gonna do the same thing again. You're gonna do the same thing again. Now, most successful people always come to that point where it becomes boring, where it becomes you're repeating the same thing. But the thing is, one thing I've learned about consistency is that people don't really fall in love with what you do. They fall in love with you showing up every day, even though it means little things. For example, I've seen people who just flip bottles, okay, on the internet, and they have massive views. Not necessarily that what they are doing is exciting. It's just that people love consistency, and consistency from the audience view is something great, but for you it's boring because now you have to do the same thing again. Okay, it's not exciting. Now, I've seen people jumping from goals to goals. I myself in particular have done that. It was in my quest to really find out, what's going on with me. That's when I realized, this is boredom, and I need to get used to boredom. Okay, and if you look at the time frame that I recorded the last video to the time I'm doing this second episode now, it's really a long time, and I'm coming back to be able to learn to show up and be able to be comfortable in my bottom in doing these things that I'm trying to do. Okay, so the deeper truth here is that boredom is not empty. Okay, even though you are bored, because when people hear boredom, when you say you are bored, people always think there's nothing left to do or there's nothing being done. No, it's just progress without noise. Okay, you are doing the same thing over, but over time you see that your first episode has 3 views, the next episode have 4 views, but these views are compounding. Okay, you're learning a skill. For instance, your first creativity may not make sense, but the next one may make more sense. And you see, because you are doing the same thing over again, you are learning teeny tiny different ways that you are improving. You may not know, but you are getting better and better every day. So the final thought here is that excitement will start the journey, but boredom will decide if you will finish. Okay, excitement will start the journey, but boredom will decide if you finish. And if you can learn to sit in the boring and still move and still make progress and still do something and still show up, I promise you're becoming dangerous. And that is one message I really want to pass to you right now today, that you should take everything that you have or pick that one thing that you want to start creating and understand that it's going to be exciting at the beginning, but it's going to get boring as time goes on. And if you can go through that boring phase of showing up despite it not being fun anymore, merging that with consistency and showing up every day, you're going to become dangerous, because everybody outside is going to look at you and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this guy is killing it. And that is one quality every winner, every successful person out there has. And I just want to bring this to your awareness, so that when you start feeling bored and you want to try something new, you figure out, you will factor in what boredom is and how to make a better choice from there on. So that's it for this video, and that's it for this episode, I mean to say, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.